Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
This is Game Nose MMA. After the lightweight division being in complete disarray for an extended period of time, order was finally restored in the weight class a month ago when the interim title was unified with the undisputed lightweight title after Khabib took out Poirier in Abu Dhabi. Thankfully, the trend of unifying titles and making things a lot more clear-cut continues when the UFC goes down under this weekend for UFC 243. I'm one of those folks who has really taken issue with how loosely the interim titles are created these days. The reality is that over the past few years, the meaning and the reverence of these championships have diminished greatly. And while I do think it's a shame, I've come to accept it over time. We're in the entertainment era of this sport, the post-McGregor era. It is what it is. As long as, at the very least, we're still getting elite-level mixed martial artists competing on the largest stage, I'm not going to complain. So it's a welcome change to all of a sudden be seeing the hierarchy of champions and contenders in the sport starting to be a bit more respected lately. The middleweight title picture in particular is one that has an amazing history, with Anderson Silva's reign and subsequent ending of that reign with one of the most shocking upsets in MMA history when Chris Weidman really shook things up at UFC 162. Then there was the memorable ending of Weidman's run as champion by way of a drubbing by Luke Rockhold. Rockhold claiming the title set up the feel-good story of 2016 when Bisping stepped up on just 11 days' notice with the odds stacked against him. He showed up to the Forum in LA and viciously knocked out Rockhold in an outcome absolutely nobody predicted, becoming the middleweight champion after 10 years of competing in the organization. After a title defense against Dan Henderson, he got the biggest fight of his life against Georges St. Pierre, and he ended up losing the title to one of the greatest of all time. So then it was GSP sitting at the throne atop of the division. And after St. Pierre became the champion at 185 pounds, he vacated the title shortly thereafter. When that happened, they just kind of promoted Robert Whittaker to being the undisputed champion. This was after beating Romero in what was supposed to be an undisputed title fight. A fight in which many believe Whittaker actually lost, but that ended up getting changed to a non-title affair after Romero failed to make weight. The storied history of the middleweight division kind of got scrambled after GSP vacated the title, and after Whittaker was promoted to a champion and Israel Adesanya went out there and won an interim title, it just sort of left fans with an unsettled feeling about the division. But that all changes this Saturday night because despite the complications of the past couple of years, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker for the undisputed middleweight title puts things right back on track. It's unquestionably the top two talents this division has to offer, and no matter how it unfolds, we're in for fireworks for this UFC 243 main event. I really like Robert Whittaker as a fighter. He has been extremely impressive, riding a 9-fight win streak over top-flight competition with some impressive stoppage victories over the likes of Brad Tavares, Derek Brunson, and Jacare Souza. And beating Yoel Romero twice in a row in 2 Fight of the Night performances perfectly justifies all of the hype surrounding the Reaper. He is a hard-nosed fighter with serious tenacity, and that has taken him very far. And not to downplay his skill set, he is the always coming forward type with really great conditioning, and he's fast. While he is on the smaller side of being a middleweight, he has big power, and it's all of those attributes combined that's going to ensure his longevity in the sport and his continued success. But I believe that this is Israel Adesanya's time. The last stylebender has been on some kind of tear since entering the promotion just last year. That's right, just last year. It's crazy to think that he's only been in the UFC since 2018. It feels as though he's accomplished a lot of clout in a very short period of time. And that's because he has. Adesanya blew into the promotion and rattled off 4 wins in his first year, which set him up for a big 2019. First with stepping in the former king of the division in Anderson Silva with a fight for the ages, and then following up that incredible performance with a Fight of the Year candidate against Kelvin Gastelum to claim the interim middleweight title. I tend to avoid not reading too much into the out-of-the-cage behavior as it relates to the performances, but the fact is, Adesanya just seems to be on this next-level wavelength at the moment. In the lead-up to all of his fights since being in the UFC, he's incredibly relaxed and poised, and he speaks with an unshakable confidence and conviction, and he carries that demeanor right into the octagon with him. And the performances under that mindset speak for themselves. There's also the fact that he's quite possibly the most dynamic striker in the sport right now. Coming from the world of professional kickboxing, with his striking pedigree, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that on the feet, As good and as powerful as Whittaker is, he is no match for Adesanya. While I would give the edge to Whittaker in the grappling department, without question, I just got this feeling that that's not how this one goes. I don't want to make it seem like I'm dismissing the Reaper. The man is a monster. But I think that aside from being multiple levels below the last stylebender in terms of the striking skill set, not having fought for over a year isn't going to bode well for him. Especially when taking on a monster that has fought 4 times since he last competed. Again, it's not that I don't think that Whittaker isn't amazing. He is. I just believe that he's going to be stubborn enough to not want to turn it into a grappling affair, which would be to his advantage, by the way, and just get into playing the striking game with someone who truly knows how to use his reach. And a fighter who is as composed as Adesanya is not a good matchup for him at this juncture. The stage is set for the last stylebender to break through, and UFC 243 is his time to do it.